Hi guys, well we're coming near the end of the Mina's Story Jar series. There's only 2 slips left in the jar. They're both green. Funny how that is. I happen to know what both of the fics are, and I've been debating whether to do them both in one clip or not, but I guess not. Okay, so this is episode number 8. And oh, it's Anarkali, everyone's favorite Anarkali. I have this impression that like Anarkali is, or as at one point was at one point, my most like popular story. It was the one that most people were interested in, asked about, and really liked the most. There seemed to be a drop off in interest recently, probably because, you know, it hasn't been updated in 2 years. So I really don't blame anyone for losing interest, because how can you even remember what happens in a story when you haven't read it in 2 years? I know what happens in the story. It's constantly living in my head, and that's kind of my problem, is that you know, the stories are still active in my head, so I don't really realize how long of a time it's been for other people to be waiting, and I'm very sorry guys that I just don't write faster. I wish I knew how to change that. But let's not talk about me, let's talk about the story, Anarkali, which is pending chapter 4. Several of my fics are stuck at chapter 4. And you know what's supposed to happen in this one? Just like in chapter 4 of Hookup, and I think we're in chapter 7 or 8 of Suitable Husband, it's the same thing. Abhigya are supposed to fight. They're supposed to have an argument. Arguments are really fun, actually, to write and to read, just because you explore tension and there's emotion, and there's just a lot going on, and it's a lot of fun. So I don't know what my excuse is for not pulling that together. I've actually been debating with myself in recent months / the last year and a half about what Abhi should be like in this scene. Originally I had him being as very, very harsh, like original Abhi at the beginning, where he kind of really hated Pragya, and it's not that he hates her in the story, but that he was very, very negative to her, like, you know, in the Pune track episodes when they go for the ramp show, and you know, he says some very, very hurtful things, which I'm not going to quote now because that's just depressing. But, you know, time went on, the show moved on, and we've got memory loss Abhi, who was actually ridiculously sweet. And I was like, well, do I want that Abhi? And now that we have mature, grown up Abhi who wants to be a husband, I'm kind of inspired by him. But the fic, the Black Anarkali, was started during the MMS track. It was a response to after the MMS track, and how things could have moved forward for Abhigya if, you know, they had sort of had a détente, as they say, which is to say like a ceasefire of hostilities, where they were trying to get along with each other, but not necessarily trying to be close to each other, you know, where they just had made peace, ceasefire, really. And Anarkali is what happens when suddenly Abhi has to see Pragya in a different light, because she shows up with her friend at a gala, and her friend gives Abhi a lot of food for thought and a different way of seeing her. And the thing about Anarkali is that it's all in Pragya's point of view, so to say that it's a fic about how Abhi's response to her changes it's kind of funny in that sense. So I said if I started talking about Hookup I wouldn't stop, but look at this, I'm talking about Anarkali, and I don't even want to begin to stop. I know a lot of people are interested in Anarkali because it has the character of Raghav, and it's just more exciting and interesting, and we've never gotten an interesting third party for Pragya on the show. So I know Anarkali has a lot of interest, probably for that reason, and I don't actually know all of the reasons why people like Anarkali. It's kind of cool to see as a fic writer to that, you know, I have my reasons for being interested in my stories, but people who read them have completely different reasons and attachments. So anyway, I know that people are really looking forward to Anarkali, and I really hope you guys like the next chapter, whenever that may be, and hopefully isn't another 2 years. I don't have anything more precise to say than that. So this is probably the longest episode of Story Jar with Mina, so that's the effect of Anarkali. There's only one fic left, and I guess we will find out what it is very shortly in the last episode of Story Jar with Mina, or Mina's Story Jar, or whatever I'm calling the series. Thanks, guys.